it all began when I was little. I come from a family, we're 6 at home. We're 6 children. So at home there was a big box of like toys and found objects. And I used to spend many hours playing with those things, creating stuff. So it's always been in me that need to create with whatever I found. And later, when I started traveling, my first trip abroad was to Turkey. I spent 1 year there, and I was so impressed by the culture and all the trips and all the people I met that I started gathering objects, tickets, pamphlets, kitsch souvenirs, toys, and I brought lots of things from Turkey to Colombia, and then I didn't know what to do with that, but I kept it anyways. And I kept collecting things from the places I traveled. My friends also knew that I liked, like small toys or things, and they kept giving me things, and it later became like a burden because I didn't want to throw away things, but I didn't want to keep them. I didn't have enough space. So when I finally decided to immigrate to Canada, I had to choose what to bring here. And one interesting thing is that when you come to Canada, you have to make a list of all the things you have on your bag, like before you go through the process of immigration. So when I was packing, I was like, what should I bring with me? And I had this collection of small erasers with different shapes and small toys and things, and I was like, no, I have to bring this with me. And so I decided to leave leave clothes or all the things that I knew I could find again, and I decided to bring most of my collection of found objects and toys and things like that. So I remember the face of the immigration officer when I arrived at the airport. It was like, what? I had just lots of small Ziploc bags with odd things that I had kept for many years. And then while, like when I arrived here, it was a process for me to reinventing myself. I wanted to become a full-time artist, and I didn't know exactly what to do. So I started experimenting with comics and street art and many things. And then in the end, everything got mixed, like my drawings with the objects, with pictures, and that way kind of like this artwork, this way of creating art was born. Kind of like organic, I would say. So I kept doing that. I kept doing it, and here I am in my first exhibition. Yeah. Immigrating it forces you to ask yourself constantly who you are, where you're from, and who you want to be. So while I was in Colombia, I was not making art seriously, but I was also thinking and writing and trying to create stuff. But I didn't want to let's say be a Colombian artist. Like most of filmmakers or writers or visual artists, they talk about the situation in the country, the wars, the drugs, like all the things, true or false. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to like talk about my I recorded my dreams and like to paint that. I was like into my own stuff. But when I arrived here, the question of identity took, more space in my head. Like, what I'm going to do, and like, what's my place in this new society? What do I have to give, and what do I want to take from this culture? Because just because I am Canadian now doesn't mean I have to behave like everyone else, or forget where I am from. Or it happens also to some people that they arrive here but they don't want to leave their home country, so they behave like they used to behave in their country, eat the same thing, and they never learn the new culture. So this is constantly a theme in my art, because in the same way, or let's say I found a parallel in the way I collect objects and use them to create art, with the way I collect things from the places I live and the people I meet to create my own identity. So how Colombian I am or how Canadian I am, it doesn't matter to me now. I am just someone who grabs things from all these experiences and tries to express himself. So Colombia is always there, the Colombian culture is always there, coming back, being rejected, being brought back. When I go there, I bring stuff, I talk to people, and I feel that, I don't know, it's always there, but it's not there. It's like, I don't know, some background noise that's always bringing ideas and coming and going. So this is it. So I collect objects, and most or all of them have a memory attached to it. I remember the place I found this thing, or I remember what I wanted to do with that, or why I bought this at a flea market or a thrift store. And then when I put things together, it's not only the objects but all the memories and all the ideas that each object has. They come together and they create a new story. So coming back to the identity question, it's the same. Like, I'm having this conversation with you right now, and I'm talking about things that I have already said to people here, or to people in Colombia, or to people in Turkey or in France, and it all gets mixed. And I realize that it's always evolving, this identity thing. It's I don't know if people who live always in the same place wonder so often about their own identity, but for immigrants it's a constant thing. Like, what's my place in this world? Why do I say this? Does it represent me? It's very so I think in the same way I accommodate objects to create art. In my case, I also accommodate stories and concepts and ideas to define my identity. I guess most people do the same thing in their own way. I'm still constantly thinking about this and exploring this idea of how we create our identity by accommodating references and ideas and things we grab from everywhere, and that defines who we are. My artistic influences are very wide. In the same time, in the same way I'm open to grab things like physical things, I'm also open to grab ideas or inspiration from different art forms and art movements. So I normally go through phases where I find something and I'm so in love with it, and I research a lot and I try to take techniques and things, and then I find something else, and it's like that. So like, if you see some of my art, sometimes they look like from different artists, because some of it might be just a painting with stencils, and some of it might be like a composition made with objects. Another thing can be an ink drawing or a zine, or so I don't care about like finding let's say a movement and go just like define myself as let's say as a painter or as a sculptor or collage artist. I don't care about this, because there are so many things I would like to explore and so many techniques that I'll just grab whatever I want, and sometimes they get together, sometimes not. It might be a disadvantage, because some people say like, are you the same artist who did that? Or, I find that nowadays many people try to find like a very specific way to be recognized, like that kind of drawing is from this artist, and that kind of improves your brand. In my case, I can't do that because I can't, when I try to repeat something, like for example, I sell a painting and people say like, oh yeah, you should go this style. I try to do it again, I cannot do it. So I realized I will not fight against this curiosity to try new things. I will keep experimenting and mixing and see what comes out of all that. So there are many art movements that have inspired me in the past, like the surrealist movement or the pop art or lowbrow, and you can see some things. Some paintings isolated might fit into a very specific category, but then when you see something else, it does not. Sometimes when I'm creating art, I think like about the theme and I pick the objects on purpose, but sometimes, most of the times, I don't. Just the objects, I just start playing with them, and then this looks nice, and then with the time I find that there is a relation that I didn't see probably at the time, and I give a name to the painting, and then I put different paintings together and they tell a story, but that story was created after the painting. So I don't actually have a way of creating art. It just happens. Sometimes I see a tutorial for illustration and I follow step by step, but then I get bored and I cut it out and put something on top of it and totally destroyed it and become something else. So it's like that. I am very curious about anything and I try it out. So also literature has influenced me. I like reading a lot, probably most in the past, but I still love reading. I love literature, and Latin American literature has influenced me a lot. This magical realism thing it's something that probably exists in most people from South America. I don't know, it's just part of our being Latin, but or maybe because we live in such weird places. But the way all this has influenced me is I see it that I don't like kind of like normal things. My art has to be wacky or weird or like quirky. So sometimes I remember actually a painting that I made with some. It's a watercolor of a hand, and I did like several exercises, and then I decided to cut them up and put them together, and so it was like 3D. And I put it in a shadow box, and it looked very nice, but it looked too clean, like too well done. So I put like a sticker from the dollar store, a random sticker, and something from like a Chinese craft, and I put it together. And people who saw the first thing they said like, why did you do that? It looked just finished and clean. You could have sold that because it was nice, like kind of like a paper sculpture. Why did you put a dollar store sticker on something? It looks like a child just ruined it. And but to me, that's my art. It has to be magical. It has to be weird. It has to have something that should not be there, but it's there. So that's the way I think that the words of Garcia Marquez or other writers have influenced my work, and that I don't like things to be like predictable. Art is a great tool to adapt to new environments because it gives you a purpose. Like even if you're in a job that you don't like, but if you have an artistic purpose, you can get through it. So I have always used art as a motivation to go through life. For example, I have had jobs that I don't like, but I said, okay, with this money I will print the zine and distribute it, and kind of like that motivation keeps me going. Or just having a sketchbook with you on a trip, it's a good I don't know, like way of keep creating. Waiting in an airport, but you have a book with you, then it's no pain. So I have always learned to have art with me wherever I go or whatever I do, even if it is not art related at the beginning. I try to have something. So, for example, when my child was born in winter, all this process in the it was very stressing, you know, go in the middle of winter to the hospital and everything. But I was apart, like all the times that I had just to wait and be there. I had my sketchbook and I was like taking notes of what I was feeling at the moment and what people were saying, and like a very detailed description of everything. And now I see it, and it's a very nice thing I did, instead of just being there worried and you know, creating more stress. So yes, art is a good way to connect to people. Always, also when I go back to Colombia, I always try to connect with other artists, and you know, that's like an excuse to talk. It's not just let's meet and I talk about my life and what I have done, but when you're an artist, it's like, oh, let's meet and do something, and that's more natural. So art has always been there. It's helped me make good friendships, find new opportunities, cope with life that sometimes becomes hard, like in this pandemic. Many you know, like we're all worried about things. We all have things. We have like relatives that might be at risk, but on the other hand, I had like time to finish things that I had just there. So I try to focus on the good stuff, like the things I could do, instead of the negative things. So that's why I would advise people to always create. I'm also a teacher, so I'm always motivating my students to find something they like and do it always. so you kind of like you find like a purpose in life. I don't know. It's sometimes hard to see people who are they don't know what to do. I have so many things I would like to do. So just yeah, art is a good way to spend your time to find, I don't know, purpose in life. So something particular about the kind of art that I make is that some of the pieces I have had those for many years. Like some of them are my childhood toys. So when I put them in a piece, it's like part of me going like, oh no, I have seen that thing like forever in my room, and then like, you know, roaming around, and then I have to give it away. So there is this piece that is going to be in this exhibition, that I have been making this piece for so many years, because it always breaks or always changes, and I paint it over and I cut it up and the glass breaks, and now it has a light, like it's like a light shadow box. But it was not like that at the beginning. It has changed so much, and it's been like, I don't know how many years I've been trying to finish. So probably it's not still finished. I still have a couple of weeks to finish it. No, actually just 1 week. And I hope it can be finished, because it's like the piece I've been creating for the longest period. And it's got beats from, I guess, all the places where I have lived. I didn't mean to do that, but now that I look at it, I find some references. And also from all the, let's say, things that I have tried. So it has assemblage, it has resin, it has collage, but I also painted the frame. It's kind of like I made it myself. So it's very weird. It's very, it has many styles, and I've been making this forever. So I'm looking forward to seeing it finished myself in the show.
Yes.